Hello students, welcome to a new session, and now we'll be starting with the chapter that is endocrine system. In this we'll mainly study about the hormones. Now why is the need for studying this endocrine system is that there are certain enzymes or certain chemicals which are present in the body which regulates the metabolic functions. For example, whenever there is growth in your body, so there are certain hormones which are responsible for the growth. When there is excess of release of this hormones, it can lead to gigantism, or when there is insufficient release of these hormones, it can lead to a condition known as dwarfism. So an adequate amount of these hormones are necessary for regulating metabolic activities at certain intervals. So starting with the session, our body has two types of glands, that is the exocrine and the endocrine glands. The exocrine glands are the salivary glands and the pancreas. These glands send their secretion through ducts directly to the target organ. So the exocrine glands which are present in your body are also known as ductless glands, and the endocrine glands, they are known as the glands with the duct. So they are of two types, ductlets or glands with the duct. So the glands where the ducts are not present, they pour their secretion directly into the bloodstream, and the glands which have ducts present in them, such as the exocrine glands, they pour their secretions into the ducts, and from the ducts the secretion goes into the target organs. On the other hand, the endocrine are the ductless gland. Therefore, the endocrine glands, they pour in the secretion into the bloodstream, and from the bloodstream the hormones are carried into the distant target organ. So their secretions are called hormones, which are poured directly into the blood and are thus carried to a target organ. So there's a difference between exo and endocrine gland. The exocrine glands are pouring the secretion directly to the target organ, which is nearer to them. On the other hand, the endocrine glands are pouring the secretion into the bloodstream. So they are pouring their hormones and they are transporting their hormones to a distant target organ. The hormone producing glands are called the endocrine glands, such as the pituitary gland and the thyroid gland. So pituitary gland is also known as the master gland of your body because it controls all the other glands present, such as the thyroid, the parathyroid gland, the adrenal glands, the pancreas, the regulation of various hormones. So there runs a feedback mechanism in your body. For example, if there is deficiency of a particular hormone, then there will be a negative feedback, there will be a positive feedback mechanism to the pituitary. Pituitary will command the other glands for the secretion of that particular hormone. So this is how the pituitary gland controls the functioning of all the other glands. These glands have no duct, but they pour their secretions directly into the blood. Therefore, they are also called ductless glands. Though the secretion of these glands, that is hormone, is secreted in very small quantity, yet it is carried to all the parts of the body. For example, the growth hormone, which is secreted by the pituitary gland, we'll study later that pituitary gland is divided into anterior and posterior parts. So the anterior part of the pituitary, which is secreting a growth hormone in a very minute quantity, but this growth hormone is carried via blood to all the parts of your body, and growth takes place in your extremities as well. So whether the production of hormone is at a very low quantity or at a higher quantity, it will affect the metabolism of your whole body. Each hormone has a specific function and is produced in one or more specific part only. For example, the growth hormone, it is produced in the anterior pituitary. The adrenal glands, which are located near the kidney, they release the hormone that is cortisol or adrenaline. The pancreas release insulin and glucagon. So therefore it is said that the release of hormones is very specific and is secreted by specific glands only. Now, hormone is a chemical substance secreted from a gland which is directly poured into bloodstream and which acts on the target organs or cells. It coordinates the functioning of the body. Now, you have to remember the definition of the hormones. We simply know that it is a chemical substance which is secreted from a gland, directly poured into the bloodstream, goes to target organs and coordinates or help in regulation of the metabolic functions of the body. Now this is the diagrammatic representation of the exo as well as endocrine gland. So the endocrine gland are the ductless gland, therefore they are pouring the secretion directly into the blood vessel. On the other hand, the exocrine gland, they have their particular duct. From the duct, the secretion goes into the target organ. Now coming to the first endocrine gland, which is known as the thyroid gland. Now this thyroid gland is situated in your neck region alongside the trachea. Now this thyroid gland, it has two lobes, that is the right and the left lobe, which are connected to each other with the help of isthmus. Now in this thyroid gland only, at the back side of this thyroid gland, there are four cells present which are known as parathyroid cells, or they are also called as parathyroid follicles, will secrete the parathyroid hormone. Now the name of the gland is thyroid gland, and it is secreting the hormone known as the thyroid hormone, which is T3, T4 or thyroxine. You only have to remember that this thyroid hormone regulates the metabolism or the functioning of your body. So if there is over secretion of this thyroid gland, then there is faster metabolism of your body, and if there is under secretion of this thyroid gland, then it leads to a slower metabolic rate in your body. So coming to insufficient secretion of thyroxine, which means that either the thyroxine is being secreted at a larger quantity, or there is insufficient secretion. So simple goiter, it is the ailment caused due to enlargement of the thyroid. It shows swelling in the neck. It occurs due to insufficient iodine in our daily food. What happens is that there is insufficient secretion of the thyroid hormone. So what the thyroid gland does is, to compensate this insufficient secretion, the cells, they start to multiply, because it is believed that more the number of cells will be present in the thyroid gland, more will be the secretion. So to compensate the secretion, the gland enlarges, which leads to a swelling in your neck region, and this is known as simple goiter. Then comes cretinism. It is the ailment which brings about abnormal development in the child. It may cause dwarfism and mental retardation of the child. Then comes myxedema. Myxedema is a condition which is caused due to under secretion of the thyroid gland. It is a defective state in an adult. If his thyroid is not functioning properly, it shows general sluggishness of metabolism with swelling on the face and the hands. So what happens is myxedema is there is under secretion of the thyroid gland. So when there is under secretion of thyroid gland, the metabolic rate is decreased, the patient or the person gains more and more weight. It can become obese, which can lead to overall swelling of the body. This overall or generalized swelling of the body is known as myxedema. So when talking about the metabolism of the thyroid gland, on one hand there is hypersecretion, on the other hand there is hyposecretion. So in the state of hypersecretion, the metabolism of the body is fast, therefore that person is very thin and lean. It can lead to sweating, loss of appetite, and hair fall also are the conditions which are related to hypersecretion of the thyroid. Then coming to hyposecretion, the person gains weight because the metabolism rate is slow. Again, there is shivering in your hand, the hand becomes cold and clammy, the hair fall is there, there is more and more loss of appetite. So there's a difference between hypo and hypersecretion. And then after the thyroid gland, coming to the another gland which are known as the adrenal glands. So these glands, they are located on the upper part of the kidney. Ad means adjacent and renal means kidney. So they are located on the outer part or the upper part of the kidney. Now this adrenal gland is divided into two parts, that is the outer cortex and the inner medulla. So there are two hormones which are mainly secreted by this adrenal gland. One is cortisol and the other is adrenaline. So this adrenaline hormone, which is secreted by the adrenal gland, it mainly helps your body in the fight or the flight situation. So this adrenal gland, it mainly helps your body for fight and flight, as I said. So it exaggerates or enhances your sympathetic nervous system. So when there is more and more secretion of the adrenal glands, the pupil becomes dilated, your heart rate is increased, there is excess of sweating in your body, your hand becomes cold and clammy, there is shivering in your hands. So in such a situation, when you are scared, when you are not ready to fight that particular situation, or you are ready to escape that particular situation, or whenever you have anxiety, there is more and more release of this adrenal gland. The opposite happens when there is under secretion of adrenal gland, your body returns to its normal state, your heart rate again comes to a range of 60 to 100 beats per minute, your breath rate becomes slower, there is not much sweating, your body starts coming to a normal temperature. So adrenal gland basically enhances all the involuntary functions of your body. Now after the adrenal gland, coming to the pancreas. Now you have to remember that these pancreas, they have a special feature that they can function as both the exocrine as well as the endocrine gland. When these pancreas, they function as endocrine glands, they secrete digestive enzymes into the pancreatic duct, and from the pancreatic duct, these enzymes, they go into the intestine for the process of digestion. And when they function as endocrine glands, they pour in their secretion into the bloodstream. That is, it releases or it secretes hormones. The two hormones released by the pancreas are insulin and glucagon. So the pancreas is situated behind the stomach. Although it is mainly a digestive gland, it has a cluster of hormone secreting cells called islets of Langerhans. So mainly the endocrine part of the pancreas is known as the islets of Langerhans. They secrete two hormones, insulin and glucagon. Now this insulin and glucagon, they work antagonistically. How? Whenever there is more and more accumulation of glucose in your body, insulin is secreted by the cells of islets of Langerhans, and insulin, it helps in metabolism of this glucose, or it helps in the removal of glucose from the blood. On the other hand, when there is more amount of insulin in your body, which leads to a decrease in glucose level in your body. So this decrease of glucose level is because due to high level of insulin. And when there is more level of insulin or less amount of glucose in your blood, then there is secretion of glucagon. This glucagon stops the metabolism of insulin, and it enhances the production, or it increases the amount of glucose in your blood. Insulin converts extra glucose to glycogen, which is ultimately stored in the liver, because excess of glucose in your body can lead to a condition known as diabetes mellitus. Insulin induces the cells to burn extra glucose to produce heat and energy for the body. Insulin causes the cells to convert extra sugar into fat. Now, insufficient secretion of insulin, which means that there will be more and more accumulation of glucose in your blood. It can lead to a condition known as diabetes, more correctly known as diabetes mellitus. So later in higher classes, you will study that the diabetes is also of two types. One is diabetes mellitus and the other is diabetes insipidus. So this diabetes mellitus is insulin dependent. That is, there is not much secretion or insufficient secretion of insulin. And then coming to diabetes insipidus, which is not dependent on the insulin. A diabetic person has a high concentration of sugar in the blood. He excretes a great deal of urine loaded with sugar. So there is a condition known as polyuria, and feels thirsty because of the loss of water. So it is known as polyphagia. Through too much of urination, usually he loses weight and tends to become weak. So the person is urinating frequently. So diabetes mellitus is accompanied with three conditions, that is polyuria. The other condition is polydipsia, which means the thirst of that person is increased. And the last is polyphagia. Why polyphagia? Because the person is losing weight, is becoming weak, the rate of metabolism is high, therefore the person has more and more appetite. So when a person is suffering from diabetes mellitus, he will show these three classical symptoms. In certain persons, the glucose level comes down to over secretion of insulin. This is very harmful and may have serious consequences. So what happens is, when there is a sudden decrease in the level of glucose due to higher secretion or over secretion of insulin, that particular person can also go into coma because there is dysfunctioning in your body. So there has to be an optimum level of the glucose which has to be maintained by the body. Otherwise, it can lead to consequences which can be fatal or lethal for that particular person. Now coming to some other hormones producing glands. Apart from thyroid, apart from adrenal and apart from pancreas, there are other organs in your body which also produces hormones, such as the pituitary gland, which is located near your brain area in the sella, which is the bony part of your brain. Then the other parts, that is the male and the female reproductive system, they also produce certain hormones. For example, in males, the hormone that is produced is known as testosterone, in female progesterone and estrogens are produced. Pituitary gland is located below the brain. It secretes several hormones, some of which regulate the activity of other endocrine glands. Pituitary gland is a sort of master gland. So in the starting of the session only, I told you that pituitary gland is known as the master gland because it regulates the functioning of the other endocrine glands. In higher classes, you will study that this pituitary gland is divided into anterior and posterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary directly controls the metabolic functions of the body, and posterior pituitary, it indirectly controls the function of your body. Wall of the stomach produces a hormone that stimulates secretion of the gastric juices. Inner lining of duodenum produces a hormone which stimulates the flow of the bile juice into the duodenum. Now, this is a diagrammatic representation of all the endocrine glands present in your body. So, this is the pineal gland which releases melatonin, and this melatonin is responsible for the color of your skin. If there is more secretion of melatonin, then the complexion will be dark. If there is less secretion, then the complexion will be fair. Then comes the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is located in your midbrain. It is regulating the functioning of the other hormones of the body, as well as it helps in thermoregulation as well. Then comes pituitary gland. This pituitary gland is divided into anterior and posterior pituitary. The hormones released by the pituitary gland, they are growth hormones, they are adrenocorticotropic hormone, luteinizing hormone, follicular stimulating hormone, and there are certain other hormones such as oxytocin, vasopressin. So n number of hormones are released by the pituitary, which controls the release of hormones from the other glands of your body. Then comes the thyroid. Thyroid gland is located in your neck region. It produces the hormone known as the thyroid hormone, which regulates the metabolic functions of your body. Then comes the thymus. Thymus gland helps in your immunity. Then comes the pancreas. Pancreas, it acts as both the exo as well as endocrine gland. So when it is acting as endocrine gland, it secretes insulin and glucagon. And when it is acting as exocrine gland, it secretes digestive juices, or you can say digestive enzymes. Then coming to adrenal glands. Adrenal glands are located near your kidney. Adrenal glands produce the hormones, that is cortisol and adrenaline. And at last, the hormones produced by the reproductive system. In males, the hormone which is produced is testosterone. And in females, two hormones are produced by the reproductive system, that is estrogen and progesterone. So these are some of the glands and their secretions. All of them are the endocrine glands, that is, they do not have ducts and they pour the secretion directly into the bloodstream. So the secretion go to a distant target organ apart, except from the pancreas, which can also act as exocrine gland, pour its secretion into the duct, that is the pancreatic duct, which from where it goes into the intestine for the process of digestion. And by this we come to the end of the chapter, that is endocrine system. In this chapter, mainly you have to study three glands, that is thyroid gland, adrenal glands, and the pancreas. You have to study what hormone is released, what is the problem that can be caused due to the over and the under secretion of that particular hormone. For example, if you're studying pancreas and in the secretion is insulin, so you have to remember that over secretion of insulin can lead to decline in the quantity or the concentration of glucose, and under secretion of insulin can lead to excess of glucose in your body, which can lead to a condition known as diabetes mellitus. So that is all for this session. Thank you so much.